Hey guys, welcome back to Contest Prep University. I'm Joe Klemczewski with Adam Atkinson. We're going to start a new series titled Contest Prep Methods, Contest Diet Methods. So a lot of these topics we've gone through in different ways, different times. And we want to go through some specific planning methods that you can use. And especially toward the end of the series, we're going to talk about hybrids and experimentation. But let's start with just an overarching premise, Adam, which is flexible dieting. So I happen to know a thing or two about this, and even though it's been 20 or 25 years since I brought this as a concrete practice into physique, sport, and prep, it's almost gone to a kind of a full extreme pendulum, over to one side where it was just all garbage foods, and back over to where now I talk more about structure than anything else, because I'm trying to pull people who don't understand flexibility over to where it works best. But there still is just a great premise point, which is you can eat the food you like as long as you're able to do some math. So tell me the ins and outs as you would explain it to a new client. Here's what flexible dieting is. Here are the pros and cons.
Yeah, so flexible dieting is basically hitting a breakdown of calories across your protein, carbs, and fat. So everyone should know that protein's 4 grams and carbs are 4 grams and fats are 9 grams, and that's going to be calories per macro. So with that being said, you're going to have specific calorie allotment based on what your macros are. And one reason I really like macros is it's flexible. So I like to compare it to you're in the gym and you're supposed to do cable flies. Well, you could do the fly machine instead if it's taken. So this flexibility allows for you to, maybe participate in some family adventures that, maybe a family reunion, you can maybe eat some of the food that's there. So that can be really beneficial. And I think where flexible dieting really wins is that the fact that you get to learn about the foods that you eat. And the second thing being that it's completely sustainable. It's just not sustainable to eat the same thing every day for the rest of your life. You're going to have no time to adapt. I would say the negatives can be, if people plan, it can be a positive. If they don't plan, it can be a complete nightmare where you have that lack of structure. And I would also just say like bad logging, or even let's say like some gray area. I'm not tracking this because it looks like it's free. Those are things that kind of come to mind where flexible dieting might fail. Or just not realizing you're having something that is causing a calorie surplus.
Yeah, when I first brought this to the industry and was writing about it in fitness magazines in the late 90s, it was just like you said, it was to say, well, I don't really want this food, or maybe it's not available, so I'll switch. I'm used to having rice at this meal, I'll have potato. Or even something like maybe my first meal is a half a cup of oatmeal and some fruit, and I'm just super hungry, so I'm going to have 3/4 a cup of oatmeal, and I'll take some carbs out of another meal later in the day. That's flexibility. It's not just winging it all day long, not knowing what you're going to eat, just doing some math and hope it all works out. I mean, that discounts a lot of the principled forms of nutrition and value that we know, where you want some structure. So I really do think I'm almost coming back, Adam, to say, okay, I kind of created this, and now so many people have ruined it, and so now I'm talking about other things, and I almost find myself now coming back to say, no, this really works. This is an important thing, and we need to kind of reclaim it in proper boundaries.
Yeah, there's been some really good research on thermic effect too that Jose Antonio's done, really good researcher. And, I think people forget, like even though these foods have caloric value, there's also a thermic value applied to each food. And when you're in contest prep, that can make a major difference over the course of 20 to 30 weeks, depending on how long you're prepping.
Yep. So there you have it, guys. That's why Adam and I just, our home base is flexible dieting. There are other ways, and we're going to talk about them. So you don't have to, agree entirely with us. but we're going to stick with this as the first chalk mark on the board, and we'll get back to some other ones in our next episode. So we will see you then. Thank you guys for watching and listening.